guys, thank you for joining me again, back here on Bushcraft Basics with Ben. I've decided to come out. It's a bit late in the evening, but I've got an hour or two left of light. And I sometimes just like to do this, just come venturing off into the forest and have a little snoop about, see what there is to find. I'm going to try and look for some fatwood, and I thought that that's one question that I get asked quite a lot about, is how do you know when you found fatwood? So I thought I'd maybe make a video about that today as well, and just chat to you guys about what I do, what I look out for, and how I know when I found it.
Clouds roll by, glittering. I never thought they would let me in. A fading light, a distant call. The devil will never be welcome here at all. The sky.
So whenever you find fatwood, what you've basically found is a buildup of pine resin, and pine resin comes from pine trees. The way the pine tree uses resin like this is to fix injured limbs, or if it's just dead completely. The pine resin works like a plug or a seal, so if you find an injured limb on a pine tree, chances are that's going to have some fatwood. Not always, but 9 times out of 10 it will have some fatwood there, because what the tree thinks is, I've got a damaged limb here, I don't want any outside infection coming inside the main part of this tree and spreading, so I'm going to flood that area with pine resin. That will set till it goes rock hard, and no outside infections will be able to enter the main body of that tree. I'm sure the tree doesn't technically think that, but yeah, that's kind of what we're seeing when we find fatwood. So there's our first clue. We know that pine resin or fatwood comes from pine trees, so we need to be in an area where there's going to be pine trees and look for those damaged limbs. But not just on the tree, you can look on the floor as well. Like if a tree's died and it's still got branches that have not rotted away, that's because pine resin doesn't rot. And so there's a good chance that that limb you found lying on the floor there that's still intact and not rotting has got fatwood in it.
Clouds roll by, glittering.
Okay, so there is a limb here off this pine tree. We can tell it's been damaged halfway down the branch there, so hopefully there may be some resin stored up here. I need to cut this as close to the tree as I can, and hopefully, like I said, we might find some fatwood.
Clouds roll by, glittering.
Another obstacle that you might have when you're looking for fatwood is that pine trees are self-pruning, so a lot of these branches or these dead limbs tend to be quite high up the tree. Don't go risking your life for a bit of fatwood. That sounds so wrong. God, I'm so immature. So as these videos move forward, as the channel progresses, something that you might hear me talking quite a lot about, well, not quite a lot, I don't talk about them quite. Will you shut up, bird? Shut up! He's trying to become YouTube famous, look. What is your problem? Anyway, I digress. What I was saying is something that you may hear me talk about quite a lot on this channel is men's mental health and the benefits of being outdoors. As a sufferer myself, I understand that not everybody can get out to the forest, not everybody can have the luxury of walking through a place like this. And so I hope that my videos, in some strange way, take somebody out there away from that dark place they're in. And if they can, then that would mean the world to me. Through the power of these videos, I've been able to lift somebody's spirits. That means everything. So yeah, I'm not going to dwell, I'm not going to be singing a sob story every time we get out together on these videos. But I do think it's important that people do stand up and admit when they're struggling. So. Limbs like this that are still intact. I mean, around the area I can't see the main body or the main part of the pine tree that this belonged to, which leads me to believe that it may have rotted away or been moved at some point. However, what we've got in front of us is a pine limb, and it still is pretty intact. There's no signs of rotting there, and like I said, resin doesn't rot, so if there is resin in there, that could be one of the reasons why this isn't rotting away. But also another great sign is that it's got this little knot on the end. which tells me that that was part of the main body at some point. This part would have been attached to the main trunk of the tree. As this was damaged or the tree started to die, resin would have flooded down through this way and maybe stored in here. So I'm just going to cut that open real quick and just investigate. We don't always strike gold first time. It does take a lot of trial and error, so don't be disheartened if you're going through the forest and you're not finding any fatwood straight away. That's sometimes how it goes. There is some fatwood in here, a little tiny bit of resin just build up there, and the outside part is just wet, which is another thing that you have to be aware of if you are picking up dead pine limbs from the floor. They're going to be very wet, and so you can be mistaken, or some people can that have never found fatwood before. It's like pulling a tooth. This is another great place to look for fatwood as well. Old tree stumps like this from pine trees of years gone by, just pull them out if you can. Not always that easy, but in places like this, if I cut down in there now, I mean this is far too wet if I'm honest, but if you do find ones like this that are a bit drier, you can pull them out and cut down into these roots, and there's a good chance that you might find fatwood in there as well. This is part of an old root system from a pine tree, and I'm hoping now that this part here may contain some fatwood. A lot of this is wet, so I'm not going to bother with that. I'm going to concentrate on this piece. And that there, ladies and gentlemen, is grade A fatwood. Have a quick smell. See, you smell that turpentine? That's actually a really nice piece. I can take that home and work with that quite easily, which is what I will do. Good find. Okay guys, so I'm absolutely busting now for a cup of coffee. I'm going to head back, jump in the car, take Tallulah back. She's had a good run out, she's tired, as am I, because cutting through all these branches looking for fatwood is no easy feat. But it is good fun. It's like a treasure hunt for adults. So yeah, once I get in the car, I'm going to head back and show you guys how to process this fatwood, because it's one thing knowing how to find it, but if you don't know how to process it, it's as good as any other branch on any other tree. So we're going to do that now. Stay tuned, and yeah, keep back and relax, guys. So now that I've scraped away most of the dead parts of the wood and started to reveal this fatwood a bit more, you can see the difference. This bottom half here is not going to be usable in any way, so I could really get rid of that if I wanted to, and maybe not go through the effort of doing that. I might just leave it. But what we need to do now is empty this bag of all the outer bark and then start to scrape all the fatwood shavings into a clean bag. Okay guys, so this is just one method of processing the fatwood. What I'm doing is obviously just taking the shavings from the piece of fatwood, building up a nice little pile, and then I can stick this in a freezer bag if I wanted to, take this to camp with me, and when I'm about to get a fire started I can take out these fatwood shavings and they will take a flame nicely. What I can also do is I can baton this piece here into 4 little sticks and carry a stick out with me wherever I go, and then just rest assured that I've always got a source of making fire. Okay guys, so as you can see in front of us now, we've got the two methods of processing fatwood. So we've got the shavings, and we've also got the little sticks which we can take out with us wherever we go. I will continue to process these down because as you can see there is still quite a lot of rotten wood at the bottom. But they are full of fatwood, which is the main thing. If I get this piece here, look, you can just see that it's absolutely got tons of resin in there. So once I've processed these down further, I'll let you guys see the finished result.
It's a cool hard wind outside my window.
That's it guys, unfortunately this video has come to an end, but stick around, keep your eyes peeled for many more coming to the channel, and if you can before you leave, just please do hit that subscribe button, drop down in the comments box below as well and start chatting to me. And this is super important, if you can give this one a thumbs up and hit that bell icon, that will ensure that you guys get to see all future content that I post to the channel. As we always say, please do look after yourselves, and if you're in a position to do so, please do look after somebody else as well. Until next time guys, take it easy and look after yourselves. I'll see you on the next one.